Okay, so I'd like to ask you something about your music and composition things. I think the DragonForce music is very catchy and easy to remember. So what do you think is the key factor for your composition? Is there any secret?
I think there's like, I always start a song with the chorus, because I always think that's the most important thing. I think even if when I hear other music, if the chorus is really great, even if the rest of it is not that amazing, you're kind of building up to something cool. You know,
like a lot of metalcore bands. You know, the verse is just rah 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 rah. But when you get to the chorus, rah, 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 and you think, oh wow, this is a really big chorus, because it wasn't really melodic at the beginning. When you suddenly throw melody in, you go, oh my god, this is a good chorus. But we have to throw melody in all the time, so the chorus has to be even better. To get through.
Exactly. Yeah, like you were saying. Yeah, it's like if you've got. I think the main thing is to like not. I always say that there's certain chords that make better choruses for our style of music anyway. Like the melodic kind of C sharp, A, E, B, and then maybe like G sharp as you kind of chords where you can bass around to make a catchy chorus. You know, I mean, of course, some people can be clever and do it with other ways, you know, but I find that's what I kind of base most of the choruses we play around those chords. And I always found that I'd hear some bands that, of course, everyone's entitled to do what they like, but for me, as a fan of that kind of melodic music, I always found that when bands have done a few albums, they kind of start thinking, well, we can't do those chords anymore, so let's try and do some sort of funny ones, and it ends up just it's kind of like it's not catchy anymore. So I think you can always find ways to make new songs and new melodies with the same catchy chords. You just have to find a new way to kind of change them around and present it and find, you know, like there's only 8 chords on the guitar, whatever there is to choose from, so like
more than that.
Well, shows how much I know.
But at the end of the day, like to answer your question, like in a final conclusion, we got the songs that are really catchy. That's the formula. But if you want to hear beyond that, there's a lot of elements in it, the guitars, and even the guitars, we don't just play the melody twice the same way. We play it the second time in a different way, expressively, in a guitar expression. So there's always things you can look for if you want to hear beyond the big chorus and the verses.
Yeah, and I think the modulation seems very important in your music. Like I said, the song starts in the minor key, then the major key comes in the chorus. It's one of the formula. But do you strictly plan modulation things, or is it more spontaneous?
No, I think it's sort of. I mean, I always tend to start a song. Yeah, like you said, it starts off minor, and then I mean, you kind of like. To be honest, I don't even know.
It's a bit of both. Like there's certain songs that we thought, right, you know, we got to some point in the verse. You go, why don't we just change the verse to major? You know, some could have changed. We said, oh, we changed to that. Maybe it's okay because after you listen to the other song, remember there's a point we go, well, that song and that song, they're kind of similar. Well, maybe we should change that one's verse to minor instead. Remember this? So it's a bit of both of thinking and automatic doing.
Yeah, it's hard to answer that actually. I mean, some songs just come out easily. You can finish it in like a few days, and then other ones you're stuck on it for months. And I can't. I always find my hardest thing to do is if you change up a key, I always find it hard to get back down again. And so it's always kind of a battle trying to find a way to get from one. You've got 3 sections that you like, but trying to get them together that is sometimes a challenge. You know, like so. But yeah, that's songwriting, I guess. It's like.
Do the stop, make a noise, and then automatically let you go back into the tricks.
So somebody comes up with chord progression first, and others come up with melody first. So what about you guys?
I always write vocal lines and chords together. I pick the bass notes on my guitar with my thumb, and then I'll be like ting 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 ting, picking out notes on the high strings for the vocal line.
Oh, okay.
So I never really think of a vocal line without chords at the same time. So that's just how I do it. I don't know how other people do it.
At the same time?
Huh?
You do
Exactly. So I guess it's kind of, because I'm not a piano player, I guess, or a singer, like I guess if I had a good voice, I could like play chords and just sing the melody line, but I can't sing a note to save my life.
He's doing it like a classical guitar, where you play the chord and
Yeah,
the melody at the same time.
Yeah, because that way I can hear which notes are fitting nicely with the bass note.
So it's like a piano.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, just that is great. So then, what about guitar solo? How do you write the guitar solos? Or you pick up the scale, or it's more like improvisation, or it's just more like?
Well, I write them out. It takes me quite a long time to write a guitar solo because I kind of like, I think, okay, well, I don't look at the song, see, I think, okay, well, we've just had that. It needs to start off with something fast, like, or it needs to start off with something slow, and then I was kind of like, I'd sort of work on it bar by bar and think, okay, we're going to have a bar of this, and then all that kind of leads into that. So I definitely write them all out quite methodically, I guess, like, and then, but yeah, you're right, different.
I mean, I completely improvise my solos, but in some way they're kind of pre-planned sometimes, because you play along a little bit and you go, okay, these notes will work, that notes will work. You find your normal notes, your basic one, and then you find the notes that doesn't work but actually still sound okay. That means the key that the scales that you wouldn't really play on it, because if you play all the right notes, it's kind of a bit boring too. I always find. So you've got your, you can look at music theory, go, okay, first chord, that's the chord, you can start with those notes, but it doesn't really work that way. Sometimes it gets a little bit boring. For me, if I pre-planned it, it's a bit too predictable.
So I need some out.
Yeah, if I pre-plan the solo, they usually say, oh, it sounds all like section.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So I try to just improvise, so it just flow. So like the numbers, how they're batched together, are kind of weird, because I just kind of like, whatever, it doesn't really matter, just improvise it through. So.
But it's kind of good though, because I think yeah, he'll sort of do notes that are off the. I can say for sure, I pretty much stick to the major and minor scales. Because I just can't bring myself to do anything that doesn't go on them. I'm like, oh, that's awkward. But when I hear other people do other scales, I like it. But when I'm sitting there writing a solo, I'm like, oh, I can't go to that note, just stick it. So, but I think in a way that's kind of good, because of the fact that we're quite different makes it a bit more interesting.
It's a big contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as you said. So who are your favorite fighters?
Well, I don't really have a fight in any kind of way. I look at it as like, you don't have a favorite guitar player. I mean, I do have a few favorite guitar players, but martial arts, you learn from everything. I mean, even just learning jiu-jitsu is pretty limited. I would say, it's just. I mean, I only train jiu-jitsu these days because I don't want to get punched in the head and damage my brain. I'm more clever than that. So, I'm not going to be a fighter. I don't want to smash my legs up. After they kick you 20 times on your legs, you just start going, oh god, you know what? It's not fun anymore. But I like all kind of fighters. Depends. Grapplers and strikers depends. I like fighters that lay all out on the line. So actually, the Korean Zombie. He's a good fighter. The one that just came up to my mind at the moment. And John Jones is cool because he's like a black Bruce Lee. He does stuff that you see Bruce Lee movies in the old past, like punching it. It's just like Anderson Silva, and he was still fighting.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you start listening to heavy metal? I mean, were you into heavy metal before you moved to the US, or after you moved there?
Well, I got into metal when I was in France when I was 11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah, so that's when I actually first got out of. I basically never heard heavy metal when I was living in Hong Kong. When I moved to France, that's when I heard rock and metal. Just kind of go, oh, I like this music. When I was in Hong Kong, I never liked music.
Oh, really? So is heavy metal not popular in Hong Kong?
Back then, definitely it wasn't. Now it still isn't. I mean, it's all dominated by pop music, singing about broken hearts and love and all that stuff. Some people just need to listen to that stuff.
We've got a song like this.
Yeah.
But
okay. So are you coming back for Loud Park this year, later this year? So what can we expect? A show better than last one. And that last one was a really good show. Yes, it was one of the best shows I have ever seen in my life. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was great. Seriously, it was great.
Oh, cool.
And I can honestly say we get better every time we're in Japan. If you look at the one before, it's like, oh, that's not as good as that. And if you look at before that, it wasn't as good as the one before. So every time we get better. So I think this time will be even better than last time in our So really looking forward to it. It's
yeah,
be a highlight for this year.
Yeah, maybe it's still, it could be a secret, but is it going to be an exclusive show in Japan? I mean, festival appearance is great, but the diehard fans want to, they prefer the longer set, especially the DragonForce songs are, rather long, so maybe the fans want to see you guys for maybe 2 hours or 3 hours.
Well, we can't play for 3 hours. We're not Dream Theater. But
how long is your usual set list when you headline the tour?
it depends. I mean, we've done an hour and a half. Sometimes we even did 1 hour 40. If something special.
The longest one.
Fans asking 1:45.
1:45.
Yeah, that
fans
was
say, "Can we have another song, please?" Like, all right, okay, well, let's play.
Yeah.
Let's play one we haven't played for ages.
Well, that's what I mean. One good thing that the last 2 albums, the songs are a bit shorter, which for one thing I think is good. It means you can play more songs live, so which is kind of cool. And actually, I think this loud part we moved up a bit higher on the bill.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough. So so we can play a bit longer than last time.
Yeah, we should play longer than last time. But if there are fans that want to see us, they should come now. There's no guarantee there will be another show. There's no.
Yeah, right.
So like last time, we thought we were gonna do a bunch of shows, and we didn't. Which is loud part. That was it. So this time we don't know either because there's so many things happening. If we have to do tour America, Europe. There's a big. Then we can't do it. So last time we thought we were gonna do a headline show. We didn't. It was too late. It was just no time. You approach the summer. There's always that time period. So, so to all the fans, if they want to see DragonForce, come see us now. There may not be another show ever again. We might die, So
hopefully not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last year's show was brilliant. The only problem was it was way too short. Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was too short.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember how long it was. Yeah, it was.
I think an hour, maybe an hour.
The better it is, the faster it goes away.
Yeah.
The faster it passes in your time. Yeah.
Okay, so could you give us the final message for the Japanese fans?
Yeah, well, I was just say.
Okay. Well, we want to, I guess, thanks all the Japanese fans for supporting us since the first album, because the first time we had done a real tour that was in Japan in 2004, actually, for Valley of the Dam album.
Yeah, and we were like, wow, people actually like us here.
Yeah,
we were like, I think it was the first time anyone actually wanted to sign something. I don't think they wanted it in England. And we were like, oh my god, these people actually they're cool, they like us.
They ask me all the time, so they just
about me.
Yeah. And we look forward for the fans who hear the new album, and also especially the fans picking up the special edition, which comes with 6 bonus tracks and DVD. So and all those songs were not meant to be bonus tracks, so they're as good as the album. Some of them, and we look forward to Loud Part 14.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Cool, man. Yeah, nice one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.